Hello everyone, my name is Ashish and you are watching another web guy YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to deploy our application onto Firebase and we'll also learn how to use the Firebase database that is also known as firestore. I will leave the link to the source code in the description below, and also there will be a link for the complete demo of the project so you can go onto that and you can try that yourself. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So this is the to-do application which we made in the last two videos. If you have not seen that, you can find the link in the I button as well as in the description box. So make sure you watch that. And even if you don't want to learn how to build this application, or you probably already know how to do that, you can learn how to deploy this onto Firebase. So the first step which we are going to do is open Firebase. So we'll say Firebase like this, firebase.google.com. And here we'll go onto the console. So let's click on go onto console. And now we have to click on add project. So add project, then give a project name. So I'll give a to do app like this. You can give any name you want, of course. Then click on continue. And I don't want Google Analytics for it, so I'll turn it off, create project, and that's it. It will create a project for us. And meanwhile, while it's happening, we'll go on to our src folder, and inside this, we will create a new file and we'll name it firebase.js. And here we will store all the configuration settings to connect our application to the Firebase console. So let's make this file. I don't want this Firebase in components. I want it directly in the src folder. So move it here. Yeah, that is fine. Now inside firebase.js, we need to do a few more steps. You can see that here we have our project ready. So we'll click on continue. And now what we'll do is we have to add our application. So you can see that you can add the iOS app, you can add an Android app, and you can add a web app. So let's click on web because we are creating a web app. Now give a name to the web app. Again, it doesn't matter, whatever you give. So I'll give it again to do app like this. And we also want to set up Firebase hosting. So you can click on this and you can also set it up later. So it doesn't matter. And then you have to click on register app like this. And it will take a while. And after that, you get some instructions to copy and paste the scripts to the bottom of your body tag, but don't worry about it. We don't have to do it in this manner. I'll show you how to do that exactly. So just click on next here. And then you can see that you have to click on npm install Firebase tools to use the Firebase CLI. So you can open a new terminal and here you can click on, and here you can run this command. So you can copy this and you can paste it here. And I have already installed this, so I'm not going to install it again. But if you have not installed the Firebase tools, you can just do this npm install Firebase tools and it will install Firebase on your system. And after that, you can press on next again. And then you can see that you have got some instructions. So you have to do Firebase login, then Firebase init and Firebase deploy to deploy the project. So we will deploy it later when we connect our application to the database and we have all our settings ready, then we will do it. So for now, let's continue to the console. And now we have everything set up. Now again, you have to go to this to do app, this hamburger menu, and here click on this settings option and go to project settings like this. Now once you are on the project settings, just go down and here you have to click config and select all these configuration options and you have to paste it here like this. The next thing which we need to do to use this Firebase config is to install Firebase in our project. So here we'll do npm install Firebase like this, and this will install the Firebase onto our project. And it will take some time, so just wait for a while and let the Firebase install in your project. So now once the Firebase has been installed to the project, what we can do is import Firebase from Firebase /app, like this. And then next what we want to import is import Firebase /firestore. So we will be using the Firebase database, and that is known as firestore. So we are importing the firestore like this. Now we'll create a variable to initialize our Firebase application. So here we'll say const Firebase app is equal to Firebase dot initialize app, and here in the argument we will pass the Firebase config. So here we'll say Firebase config, like this. Now what we need to do is we need to connect our Firebase app to the firestore. So we'll say const db, that is database, again you can name it whatever you want, is equal to Firebase dot firestore, like this. Now we can export this DB so that we can use it anywhere else. So we'll say export default DB, like this. And now the configuration for our Firebase firestore has been set up. Now what we need to do is we need to create a database for our application. So we'll go to the Firebase console again, and here we'll click on the hamburger menu, and here you have to click on Cloud Firestore. Let me expand a bit so that you can see it more clearly what's happening. Now here in the Cloud Firestore, you have to click on Create Database, and now this will create your database. Now you have to do it and start in test mode, because right now we want to give all the permissions. So just click on start in test mode and then click next, and then click the server. You can set whatever you want, doesn't matter. So click enable, that's it. And once everything is done, you can see that we have got this page, that is the Cloud Firestore page, and here we can see that we can start a collection and we will have all our database details here. So far so good. Now what we want to do is we want to save our to-do items. So whatever we are writing it here, for example, if I write to do 1 and then click on the plus icon, you can see that we are getting on the DOM, but this is not getting saved anywhere. So if we refresh the application, it is gone, but we want to store this information onto our database. So for that, what we can do is, so we'll go into the components, and here we'll go into the input component, and in the input component, let me close this. Now in the submit handler, so where we are submitting the input, we need to submit to the firestore. So it is a very easy process. So what we have to do is we have to first import the DB which we exported from here. So this is the DB. So just import it. So we'll say import DB from Firebase, like this. Now if we have the input, what we can do is we can do db.collections. So you can see that this is a collection. So whatever we start here, we can manually we can also manually add a collection. So for example, I'll show you. You can see that here if I say to-dos like this, and then if I click next, you can see that we have this document. So we can click on this auto ID so that it automatically generates the ID for us, and then we can click on save, and you can see that we have this collection added. So we have a collection, inside that we have a document, then again a collection, and again a document, like this. The chain continues. So we will do it programmatically from here. So I'll just remove it for now. So I'll just click here and click delete collections, and we'll say to-dos and delete, like this. So now we do not have any collections. So we'll say db.collection, db.collection, I think, collection. And here we will pass the name of the collection. So I want a to-dos collection. Now, since we do not have this to-dos collection, so this will be created in the Firestore automatically for us. Then we will click, then we'll say .add like this. And inside add, what we will do it, we'll add an object. We do not want input, we want the object. And in this object, we will say this same thing. So text is input and completed is false. So let's copy this and we'll paste it here like this. And now if we go on to our React application, and here if we add something, say to do one, and if I add it like this, you can see that it will be added. If you refresh this, you can see that it has been added to our database. So you can see that here we have got to do one with a completed false. So if we add something else, say another to do like this, and you can see that it will be added here. So you can see that we have another to do here like this. So that is how we connect our database to our application. Now let's set up the other things. So we do not want to set the to-dos like this. So we'll just comment this out. The way we want to set the to-dos is from the database. So we'll grab all the to-do items from the database. So let's go to app.js. And here, since this fetching of items from the database is a side effect, so we will use we will create a use effect hook. So we'll say use effect like this, and inside this there will be a function, as you know, like this, and there will be a dependency array like this. So inside the function we have to say db.collections, collection, and then we want to grab this to-dos collection. So we'll say to-dos like this, and then we can do on snapshot. So we'll say on snapshot like this, and what the on snapshot does is it will take the snapshot of our collection, that is the to-dos collection, and it will grab all the items for us. So the way we do that is inside this we'll pass a function. So we'll have a snapshot, and this snapshot, we can see what this snapshot is. So we'll say console.log, and let's see what this snapshot is. Snapshot like this. So here in the application, if we press Ctrl plus Shift plus I to open the console, you can see that we have got this snapshot, and inside the snapshot we have a property known as docs. So if we click on docs, this is an array and it contains our to-do items. So let's do console.log.docs like this. And now if we refresh this, you can see that we have got this array and it has both our to-do items. So the way we grab the data from our snapshot is we can select one of the arrays. So we'll say docs 0 and then .data like this. And you can see if we do that, we have this text, another to do, and completed false. We can grab this data like this. So for now, let's remove this. Let's remove this console.log statement as well. And here what we want to do is we want to set this array, that is snapshot.docs, to our set to do. So here we'll say set to do's and snapshot.docs like this. And since this is an array, so we want to add these square brackets, and we'll also spread all the items of snapshot.docs into the array, so that snapshot.docs array which we saw, I'll show it again. So let me show you console.log snapshot.docs like this. So you can see that we have got some errors. Don't worry about it right now because obviously we have changed the code. The set to do's is no more what we were setting it earlier. So that's why we're getting these errors, and we'll fix it eventually. They are minor errors. Don't worry about that. Just see that in the console, we have this array. So these two items which we have in our database, these two items, and now we have in our set to do's. So we have set the array and we have copied all the items from snapshot docs to our to do's. That's it. The next thing what we want to do is, as I told you, inside the snapshot.docs, we can take the individual item and we can run the .data function to grab the data from it. So what we'll do is, inside this filter use effect where we have created the logic for the search options, what we'll do is we are grabbing all the elements and we'll do element.data.text like this, and that should be fine. Now you can see that we are not getting any error, but still we cannot see the items. So let's do a console.log statement again, console.log, and here let's do el.data like this. And now you can see that we are getting, so the reason why we cannot see it here because I'll show you later. So now everything is fine. We are not getting any errors for now. And so let's remove this, and that's it. So again, let's have a recap. What we did is we ran this db.collection. From the collection to do's, we took a snapshot of the database and we grabbed all the items into this snapshot variable, and then we use snapshot.docs to access all the individual elements, and then we set those items in our to-dos. Now, the next thing in the filter logic where we are filtering all the items as per the search box, we grabbed all the items and just we ran .data function so that we are getting the exact data from the array, that is from the snapshot. Now next, what we need to do is, let's go to the to-dos folder. We are getting the item here. So the reason why we cannot see here anything is we need to add the data function here as well. So we'll go here. Instead of item.text, we'll say item.data.text like this. And similarly, here as well, we'll say item.data.text like this. And now you can see that we have got both the items from their database. Now if we add something else, let's close this console. We add some other to do like this. And you can see that this will be added to the database. So here you can see that we have this some other to do, and we have this. Let's refresh this, and you can see that we have this some other to do here. So right now the database is set. We are fetching the items from the database. We cannot, but right now we cannot use these delete and complete functionality. And there is one more issue. So if I add more items to it, for example, if I add, say, something else, then we add to do 2, then we add, say, to do 3. You can see that they are randomly getting added anywhere, that they are not getting on the top of each other. The reason for this is the Firestore arranges these items, these documents, in the alphabetical order of their IDs. And since their IDs are randomly generated, so you can see that our to-do items are also getting randomly added. So the way we can fix that is we can add a timestamp to all of these items, and then we can order these to-do items basis on that timestamp. So let's go to the input.js file, and here, apart from this text and completed, we will also add a time. And the way we grab time from Firebase is, we'll say Firebase dot firestore dot field value dot server, sorry, this should be dot server timestamp like this. Now we also need to import Firebase, so let's press Ctrl plus spacebar, and Okay, export namespace. So we have to import it manually. So let's say import Firebase from Firebase/app, like this. And now if we add some to do items, for example, this, let's say to do with timestamp. And if you click on the plus icon, you can see that inside our Firebase console, we will have this to do with timestamp, and we have this timestamp here. So let's delete this collection. Let's say to do's. Now anything we add will have that timestamp. So let's add some to do's. So say to do 1, to do 2, to do 3. Now still they are getting randomly added, but we have that timestamp. So what we can do is we can go onto our app.js, and here we can add an order by. So here, before taking the snapshot, what we can do is we can say order by and order by, and here we'll say time. So this is the time. So here, this is the time property, and using this time property, we are ordering all of the elements. And if we save this, you can see all our items are now ordered on the basis of the timestamp. So if I add to do 4, you can see that it goes down. If we add to do 5, to do 6, you can see that everything is now systematic. Now the next step is to add this completed and delete functionality, and it is quite easy. Let's go to the todo.js, and here we will go to the complete handler. We will just comment everything out. Again, we will access the database. So we'll say db.collection, and here we'll say to-dos. And we want to access the doc, so we'll say doc, and inside this we'll pass the item.id. Now similar to the item.data, we also have item.id, and this ID, item.id, will give this particular ID which we have. So if we refresh this, we should have some elements. You can see that we have all of these elements which we right now there is an error, so we'll fix that. So you can see that these IDs, we can get these IDs through item.id. So here we are saying db.collection to do, so this collection.doc, so this document, and here we are passing item.id, and here we'll say .update, and inside this we'll pass the object. So we'll say completed to false. Oh, I'm sorry, it should be a boolean, so it should be false like this. Now it will now since we are running the update function, it will automatically check the fields, and it will check the completed field, and it will change it to false. Now as you know, we also need to run if else condition. So we want to check if item.data dot completed is equal to true. So if the item.data.completed is true, then we want to set it to false, and else what we want to do is we will say, we'll copy this, paste it here, and here we'll say true, like this. So if the item.data.completed is true, we want to set it false. If it is false, we will set it true. And we can see that DB is showing an error because DB is not imported. So let's press Ctrl plus spacebar, and then it will import the DB from Firebase. And now everything is fine. Now similarly, we can go to the delete handler, and here let's comment all of this. And here again, what we can do is we can grab the db.collection, and then we'll grab the to-dos collection, and here we'll say .doc, and here we'll pass the item.id like this, and then we'll say .delete. Super easy like this. Now if we go on to our application, if we refresh this, you can see we are getting all the to-do items, and if we delete this, you can see that they are getting deleted. If we check our database, you can see that everything is getting deleted. Now let me show you this in real time so that you can comprehend it better. So we have this to-do application, you can see like this. Now if you click on delete, you can see that it is getting deleted in real time. If you click on delete, you can see that that got deleted. If we add something, say new to do, you can see that it is getting added to the database, say to do 2, and you can see that it is getting added to the database. If you click on this, you can see that we have this new to do, we have our completed false, we have this to do 2 completed false. Now if you click on this completed button, you can see that it will change to true. So that is super awesome. But one thing that is not happening is this button should change. So let's fix that. So let's go to this to do demo, and here we will see why it's not happening. So again, so here completed should be item.data.completed. That's it. And now if we see our to do item, you can see that the button is also getting changed. So you can click this, you can click this, and you can see that everything is getting changed in real time in our database. Now the next step is to deploy our application onto Firebase. So right now you can see that we have our application in localhost, but we want it to be on the internet so that everyone can see it and use it. So let's do that now. Let me just grab this, set it here like this. Let's do it like this. Okay, so the way we do that is we need to initialize Firebase. Now I'm not running this terminal in administrator mode, so I'll open my command prompt. So I'll say Windows and CMD, and we'll say run as administrator. If you are on Mac, you can just write sudo before your commands and it will automatically run in administrator mode. If you are on Windows, you can run the command prompt as administrator, or otherwise if you are using the VS Code as administrator, you can directly do that in the terminal. So inside this, what we'll do is first we'll navigate to the folder where we are. So we'll say E. Now let's go to the PowerShell. Let's copy this. Control C. Let's go to the command prompt. Here we'll say CD and paste it. Like there should not be PS. Like this. And if we press enter, you can see that we are into our directory where we have our application. Now what we have to do is we have to do Firebase login like this. And once you do Firebase login, you can see that I am already logged in as my email. But if you're not logged in, it will show you a prompt and there will be a window which will open in your browser, and it will prompt you to log in through your Firebase username and ID, and you can use that to log in into your Firebase account and you will be done. The next thing which we'll do is we'll do Firebase init like this. Press enter. And are you ready to proceed? Yes. Now you have got some options here. So you can use the down arrow to select hosting, then press spacebar to select the hosting and then press enter. Then you can see that we have got some options. Use an existing project, create a new project. So I want to use an existing project, so press enter. And then we have all the options, all the projects which we have on our Firebase. So here we can say this to do app. So which is the to do app? Let's see. So here we can go. So here in the project settings, we can see that we have C12E1. So we'll select this C12E1. So you can use the down arrow and press enter. Then there's an option, what do you want to use as your public directory? So here we will type build, because when we build our application, there's a build folder which I'll show you, which will be created in our application. So just write build here and configure as single page application. So here we want to say yes. Why? Set up automatic builds and deploys with GitHub. Right now I'm not using GitHub, so you can set no. If you are using GitHub, so you can set Y. And that is done. So Firebase initialization is now complete. Now let's go to the application here, and what we have to do is we have to do npm run build like this. You can do this in this command prompt as well. It doesn't matter. I'm doing it here. So press enter, and this will build our project for deployment. It will take a while, and you can see that we have got this message. So our build is now complete. The build folder is ready to be deployed. You may serve it. You'll get this message. That means your build folder is complete. And let me show you. So this is the build folder which we are going to deploy onto our server. So we don't touch it. We don't do anything with this build folder. But yeah, this is the folder which we will deploy. So now let's come onto the command prompt. And here we'll say Firebase deploy like this. And just wait for a few seconds. And you can see that message deploy complete, and that is done. That is all what we have to do. And now our application is live on the internet. We can just copy this URL and just copy this. And now we can paste it here. And you can see that we have our to-do application ready, and it is live on the internet. Again, I'm saying that I'll leave the link in the description below so that you can use it and see how it looks. And if we add something here, say deployment complete. If we click on the plus icon, you can see that we have here on the front end as well as in the database. So let's go onto the cloud Firestore. So here you can see that we have this deployment complete. You can see this is being added here. So that is how we create a full stack application. So that's all for the video. I hope you learned something. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you're new here, consider subscribing, and see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.